Welcome to the Occupy Democrats show. My name's Mark Bland.
I am Jason Cole.
And, Jason?
Yes.
I don't know how to start a show like this. And it's because it's been a day, but
a little bit.
Little clumped in the throat.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? Like
well,
it's one of those days where, like, first off, it's a Friday, right?
It is a Friday.
So it's like casual Friday. I got the Cobra Kai's. He's doing the Depeche Moses.
That's right.
I think so over there.
There we go.
So we're doing casual Friday. We're having a good time here. And you're thinking that life is just going to be normal.
Nope.
And then the president of the United States once again opens his mouth. Not uncharacteristic of him.
No, it's pretty normal.
Very normal of him. But if we could play this video, I think that this needs to be discussed immediately on the show.
Not a smart person, but a somewhat vicious person, I will say. If you feel sorry for him, don't feel so sorry because he's vicious. What he did with his political opponent and all of the people that he hurt a lot of people, Biden. And so I really don't feel sorry for him, but not a smart person. But
there it is.
Sucks. That's a douche move. You know what it is? It's more of that projection. It's more of that every accusation, blah blah stuff. You know.
I was just taken aback. A reporter asks about Joe Biden's cancer diagnosis, and the president of the United States, who already, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, has put out a tweet that said him and the First Lady Melania Trump wished him well, and after they found out about the diagnosis, they hoped that things would get good for him. Fine. And everybody was cool with that. We were cool with it on the show. Everybody was like, fine with it. They were just like, oh, let's just move on. No big deal. But then when asked directly during this Elon Musk exit, we're going to discuss here in a second.
He was doped up.
Yeah. Well, when asked, he literally looks the reporter in the face and he says, that man, that evil man, that crazy, crappy man, that horrible person, like, I don't wish him well. Like, you shouldn't wish him well. Nobody should wish him well. He's a horrible human being.
I wish that guy well. He follows the rule of law.
You're a piece of crap, Donald Trump, for doing that, man. You are the president of the United States. You easily could have just been like, me and the First Lady wished him well. That's it. Simple answer to the question. And then if they had any questions, they could refer back. Carolyn Levitt in a press conference tomorrow could have, or on Monday, could have referred back to your tweet. Yeah. It would have all been like boom, boom, boom. And everybody, and any president who would have done it that way, I would have been cool with, right, Jay? You?
Yeah, right. That's the normal way to be.
Normal. But instead,
this is a guy that thinks there's 9 stages of cancer. So
he thinks there's 9 stages of cancer.
He does.
9 stages of cancer.
Yeah, he was surprised that Joe Biden had it because it takes so long to get to that point.
Stared the eclipse.
He did look at the eclipse.
In the eye.
Looked right up at it twice.
After the whole world told him.
He had to be yelled at by another adult.
Don't do this without glasses on.
Like, just we
have them. We have lots of them. We've given them to everyone. Mr. President.
Children had them on at that point.
I got 14 different colored versions of American flag version glasses here. Like I
put one on.
But no. That's what we get, ladies and gentlemen. What a crappy thing to do. Why would you do something so horrendous and then throw that out there in the public like that? Like, it's just a waste of taxpayer time to talk to you about these things. And it's not. Listen, this, once again, has nothing to do with the office of the presidency or Donald Trump is a great businessman or not a great businessman or he's a good president or not a good president. Yeah. This is a character, once again, a character issue. This is just a human being to human being issue.
And he sucks at being one.
Evidently.
Yeah, he's a bad guy. There's a bad guy doing bad guy stuff, and this is one of them.
Evil.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, just to, like... To wish someone well and then to turn around just like a week later and be like, or a little over a week later and just be like, oh, no. Why would you wish him well? He sucks.
Yeah,
that's two-facing it right there, man. That's both sides of the sword. You're like, I don't know what to do with that. Like, it just means nothing. It's once again, it's Trump says this, but then I guess he chickens out even on those things too. Like, I put out good wishes to you and your family for a cancer diagnosis as president, and everybody goes, that's great. I even chicken out on that.
Oh,
you chickened out on that. Like, literally by saying that to that reporter, you've taken back what you said in the original tweet,
like, no,
which was the first thing.
I don't feel sorry for that guy now.
And now you don't feel sorry for that person. So you chickened out on your feelings. You chickened out on everything, dude.
Well, he needs to be careful. His time's coming. He's a out of shape, unhealthy man. He's an overweight, sedentary guy. He doesn't do a lot of moving. Like, you could say, oh, he plays golf, Jason. Yeah, he takes a golf cart. He's not walking anywhere. Even the pros at least walk.
Now, with our friend Donald Trump being in charge of this moment in his presidency, that is
still, it sounds terrible.
It just sounds terrible.
Right?
This is, you know what this is? This is on the same level. It's on the same level as when he made fun of the man with the handicap man.
Yeah,
like that was out of control.
I thought, you know what? You thought, oh, that's it. That's it. He's not going to win the primary now. Nope.
And wait a second. Wait. You said when I said the handicap man, you said what?
He was the New York Times.
New
reporter.
York Times?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh well, here
Talk about a lead in.
If you could play a clip for me and Jason real quick, thank you, Jason.
The president mentioned that you had to deal with all the slings and arrows during your time at DOGE. There's this.
Well, some of the people, some of the media organizations in this room are the slingers.
Well, so there is a New York Times report today that accuses you of blurring the line between.
Is the New York Times, is that the same publication that got a Pulitzer Prize for false reporting on the Russiagate? Is it the same organization?
I got to check my Pulitzer counter.
It is.
But so I think the judge just ruled against New York Times for their lies about the Russiagate hoax, and that they might have to give back that Pulitzer Prize. That New York Times. Let's move on.
Okay, then next question. Trump. I got one for President Trump. So President Trump.
Right. Is that same Russia hoax that like half a dozen people went to prison for that he pardoned? That hoax?
Yeah, that hoax.
That hoax had convictions?
Let's talk about this, though, because this need by a person who's leaving to throw bombs shows you the type of person that they are. They're reckless in everything that they do. So when they were in control of DOGE and they were trying to find fraud, which they never found, they fired a bunch of people and said that they shouldn't have jobs.
If he would have
that doesn't necessarily mean fraud.
If he would have turned sharply to his left, he would have found tons of fraud and waste.
Oh,
right there
easily.
at that desk. There was a bunch sitting there, about $260 worth.
Well, Jason, we famously came on our show and said this was an organization that started off by having two heads, Vivek Ramaswamy or whatever.
Yeah, he's going to be governor of Ohio now.
And Elon Musk. And it was like, you have two heads to an department that's supposed to be governmentally efficient, but you have two heads to it that's already wasting money when we only need one person to be in charge of that department.
Well, and Donald Trump went and put like 20 times on the debt that DOGE even found in fraudulent spending or waste spending. They didn't really find any fraud. They just found things that they thought was wasteful. That's the fraud they found, the waste they found is what you think. If you think what Elon Musk says is fraud or waste, then you agree. But if you don't, then who's to say what's fraudulent and what's wasteful?
You make a great point. Also on this piece right here, why go after the New York Times over one thing that you found or could point to in history and say, oh, this is a thing that means this shouldn't have credibility, but that's one story or one topic in the history of the New York Times. Like, as big as you want it, like, here, go full screen with me. Like, as big as you want it to be, like, their history is massive. They've been around for decades.
Yes.
So they've done hundreds and possibly, I could be wrong, millions of stories
They probably
potentially. Probably
have,
posted millions of stories at this point.
individual ones.
And because you found one or two, you say that All of them are fraudulent. Anything that they put out is fraudulent. It's like, no, that's how we got rid of you. You just say random things and try to apply it.
Which, him to say that about the New York Times is insane, considering everything they believe in order for Donald Trump to be not telling or not lying to them, that he's telling the truth. They believe the 34 felony counts, oh, those are fake. The accusations from women, that's fake. The documents, fake. Stirring up January 6th, that's fake. They believe all of that's fake, but yet they're going to make fun of a reporter because they're going to use something from the New York Times?
Well, I think that it's also important to point out, Jason, that this was another attack. And what we have when the president of the United States is asked about Joe Biden and his cancer shortly after Elon Musk does that, they have the little question and answers for the president, and that's where he made his quip about Joe Biden.
Yeah.
That's 2 attacks in one press conference on purpose, hurled out there for no reasons. They're getting a lot more brazen with their willingness to just attack things for no reason and to just let it fly as if it doesn't matter. And they're pushing in a lot of different ways. Now, Elon Musk is exiting his role as special government employee, leading the Department of Government Efficiency, and he's taking Katie Miller, a top Trump administration aide, with him to work full-time for his ventures. If you could pop up that picture of Katie and him. There she is right there.
She looks happy.
This has sparked rumors of tension as Katie's husband, Deputy White House Chief of Staff Stephen Miller, Jason.
Oh, that's where she is. Okay.
Publicly clashed with Musk over X over Trump's big, beautiful bill. Musk criticized the bill for increasing the deficit, while Stephen Miller dismissed the $3.8 trillion deficit projection as an accounting gimmick. It's an accounting gimmick. It's always an accounting gimmick. Well, Katie, previously a DOGE spokesperson, has been actively posting about Musk and his companies, including SpaceX and AI ventures. Despite DOGE's ambitious start, though, including shutting down USAID, and its impact remains unclear. Both Musk and Katie were limited to 130-day in their roles, right? So that's why we're getting rid of this, guys. And the White House was not commenting on Katie's departure, which follows her and Stephen's high-profile tenure in Trump's orbit. So Katie Miller making a move with Donald Trump's former protege. What is Musk his protege? What? Who's his protege? Is it J.D. Vance? Is it Musk?
But, the reason we get this crap is because we have the social media president with the social media billionaire.
Yeah.
They want viral moments. Everything's a viral moment.
Everything's about
I'm gonna say
poking
something
a bear.
shitty about Joe Biden. I'm going to say something dumb about the New York Times and be real arrogant and stupid about it. It's the same thing over and over again. Like, replace Harvard with New York Times.
Yep.
Replace New York Times with AOC. Replace her with Bud Light. It's like a starter pack for stupid conservatism.
Now, Jason, you've seen Stephen Miller.
Yeah, he's so handsome.
And you and me host a podcast show.
Yeah.
That's what we do. And so, we like to talk about things. And you saw that picture of pop Katie Miller and Elon Musk back up. Okay, so you saw that picture. All right. So, Katie, she's not a bad-looking person. She's an attractive lady.
She looks afraid.
Very, very, very. But she's with Stephen Miller.
All right, that's what I'm saying.
All right, so what I'm saying is you get offered by the richest man in the world, come with me. Worst case scenario, I'm ugly too, but you'll have a lot more money than you ever had before.
I don't sleep upside down, so that's a positive. There you go.
I'm just saying, I just feel like, why wouldn't you stick around with your husband where he's at? Why wouldn't you stay over with him? Why do you got to go shooting off the Tesla in Texas and way down there and going doing a bunch of things over there on that? Now, maybe she doesn't have to leave where they're at. I don't know how that deal works out. I'm just saying it's just odd of a person to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to peace out on my husband and go down here with the rich guy.
Right. It sounds like he's about ready to start down the road in some more conspiracy stuff. So if I'm an owner of Tesla stock, I say you guys sell it because it's about $350 now.
Yeah.
It hasn't been that high in a while. If you bought it like a month ago, you probably paid $2 something. Now's the time to bail on that because he's about ready to bury it again.
Oh my goodness. The things that this man, I don't have a story built up for it, but it's something that you and me talked a little bit about that also comes in line with this whole Elon Musk making his way out. there are some moves making their waves behind the scenes with Palantir, the company Peter Thiel owns, taking over a registry, it seems, of some sort. It's
Right.
like some type of registry about American citizens, like the people in America.
Yeah, somehow they'll all be for that too. That's the insane part. They'll love it,
They do.
right? They'll be for that. Not
Like,
a
I
gun
don't
registry, they lose their mind. But a registry that includes every single citizen, oh, they're fine with
They
that.
do.
That's super cool because that's Peter Thiel, and he's
I'm
a
just saying
billionaire,
They do.
right?
They do.
They-
and it's
They'll follow him with anything. Everything they're afraid of, they'll do if he brings it up. It's like their convictions are zero. They follow and follow and follow. They're like following parrots. They parrot every nonsensical, stupid thing he says, and they'll follow him anywhere. Lemming parrots. That's what they are.
all right. I have a tweet here because I want to move on a little bit. And this is a tweet from Donald Trump. And if you could pop that tweet up, I think I sent it to you. Look at that.
Let him go.
2 weeks ago, China was in grave economic danger. The very high tariffs I set made it virtually impossible for China to trade into the United States marketplace, which is by far #1 in the world. We went, in effect, cold turkey with China, and it was devastating for them. Many factories closed, and there was, to put it mildly, civil unrest.
Yeah, I saw that.
I saw what was happening, and it didn't like it for them, not for us. I made a fast deal with China in order to save them from what I thought was going to be a very bad situation, and I didn't want to see that happen. Because of this deal, everything quickly stabilized, and China got back to business as usual. Everybody was happy. That is the good news. The bad news is that China, perhaps, is not surprisingly, to some, has totally violated its agreement with us. So much for being Mr. Nice Guy.
He's insane. You know, his tweets, if you arrested some meth head, boom,
Yes.
straight off the street, arrested him, stuck him in the back of a car, and gave him a phone and a Twitter account and said, here, type up your excuse right now.
Say things.
It would make as much sense as the things he puts out. Like that, what are you even talking about? Like what is that defending? What is that attacking? I have no idea what you're talking
Okay,
about.
well, first off, has a single country did anything Trump states
No.
he forced them to?
No,
not a single one yet. Not Russia, not China, not France or Canada.
You know, I saw a lot of news stories about China and the tariffs, and not one of them were showing unrest and their inability to keep factories open. You know what it showed? It showed them being just fine because they planned for this. They knew it was coming and planned for it.
Guys, it's 2025. Yeah, look over here. It's 2025. Civil unrest over Trump tariffs would have definitely made the news. It just would have made the news. That's
China
it.
would not be able to hide
So
that.
we would know that it was the deal that you made. Like, it was
Right.
a situation where they listened. They're like, China has stated that they are finding other countries to give American cheap goods to. So they are openly mocking that we get cheap goods to the world. They're like, oh, America gets cheap goods from us. We're going to take their cheap goods. We're going to go find other places to sell those cheap goods.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Okay. And finally, as we have laid out on this show, make a claim, double down. When it starts to fall apart, you back out. The claim was to fix it. Just you just got to set your personal beliefs back to when the deal wasn't an issue, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
That's what you do. You just do this, throw it into chaos, set it back to where things were 2 months earlier, and then go, I fixed everything, even though you didn't do anything.
You
didn't do anything.
He's so
Nothing.
feebly minded that you could show him these tweets and these things he puts out like 2 to 3 weeks later, but not tell him it's his and say like, oh, when you said this or this, he won't remember. He doesn't know he says these things because it's all lies.
And you know what else is great about that too? When he keeps throwing this stuff about countries and all this shipping and all these things that they're doing, he keeps thinking about this in terms of 1950, 1960, and is my 1980. He doesn't understand the advancement that the internet made allowed smaller nations to be able to build up shipping routes over the last 60 years and become players in the shipping game. And they have access to areas now where the United States used to be the biggest dog on the block, so they had the biggest tentacles everywhere. Other places now have tentacles in those places too.
Well,
we aren't the biggest and the only.
No, we're not like Silk Road type stuff anymore, just figure eighting
Right.
around one area.
And so
we're
in
worldwide
in
for real now.
1930, when you're trying to talk about doing business with the world on a shipping level, yes, the United States and the control of its shipping lanes and how things worked with it, they did have the most money, power, control, whatever it was. So they had whatever they needed at the time to control the business and the markets. Trump doesn't have that. He doesn't have any of that. They control themselves now. So in Malaysia and down through Southeast Asia, they have shipping routes of private independent companies that can take over all of these things. They don't even need American shipping to handle any of it because they're not going to be going to America anymore.
And there's plenty of South American countries that have large ports that can take goods, so they don't necessarily have to come here.
You have a president that likes to yell at people about their cancer diagnoses and tell people to wish them unwell. You have people leaving after they decimated your Social Security numbers and everything else as they rifled through it with DOGE. You have we say this on almost every show. You have no allies.
No,
Every move you've made has been, what is it again, Jason? Clumsy.
Yeah.
And unnecessary. Every single move. Like the thing with Biden today and the cancer.
Everything.
Clumsy and unnecessary.
Right? Always falling out of the gate. Always out of the starting block. Boom,
Just
boom, 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 down.
Crashing.
Yep.
Big Beautiful Bill crashing.
Hopefully.
You had stuff about Big Beautiful Bill.
I do. You want to know some stuff that's in Big Beautiful Bill?
I do want to know about some stuff in that Big Beautiful Bill that they're wanting to talk. I got other things too, but we'll get to this. I want to get to this.
Just the fact that it is literally called the Big Beautiful Bill.
Yeah.
Or called One Big Beautiful. It's
One Big Beautiful Bill, Big Beautiful
so
Bill.
incredibly stupid.
Okay.
That it's unreal.
Correct.
But it does have cuts to Medicaid, estimated around $700 billion.
Whoa.
Yeah, there is one thing in here. At first, it sounds okay. There is a work requirement of 80 hours of work, only 80 hours per month of able-bodied adults without children.
Okay.
But the problem is they've gutted a lot of these bureaucracies that would follow this and keep track of this. So being able to prove that you're working may become quite difficult for some of these people, and they may lose some of their coverage during this time.
Hey, they might lose some of those programs, like the idea of those programs even being able to work properly on their behalf anyway, because they cut out pieces here and pieces there.
So you have to report to this group or whatever that to show your work history. There might not be anybody there to receive that email.
Right, yeah, that might not exist anymore because we doged it.
Yeah, so we're cutting SNAP, of course, because we're pro-life. Reduces funding for the SNAP program by $267 billion over the next 10 years. Also expands work requirements, which I'm fine with that, but let's make it reasonable. It includes adults up to 64, though.
Does it include children down to 10 working 50 hours in mines by any chance? I'm just asking. Just asking.
Any extra advice, they may take you up on that.
Well, but Jason, as you're going through and you're reading some of this, and you've had a lot of this to ruminate with for a little bit of time, I'm curious in your opinion on how much of this follows, in your opinion, the Project 2025 layout. Oh, this is Project 2025.
They say they want to cut or end is in here. It's been cut. It's in some cases attempted to end.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's what he's saying to you.
But the thing is this is what's funny is we said it just a clip earlier that he's putting about 25 times what DOGE found in wasteful spending, because this bill is projected to increase the federal deficit with estimates ranging from $2.5 to $4 trillion over 10 years. I think that the one estimate for DOGE was they found $150 billion of actual wasteful spending. Well, he's doing that every year for the next 10 years, twice to 3 times as much as that.
Hey, now, Jay, listen, we need to cut to a quick break real quick. And when we come back, we're gonna pick up right where we left off there. We're talking about the Big Beautiful Bill. We'll be back on Occupy Democrats after this.
a snafu.
And we were in the middle of talking about the big, beautiful bill,
We
Jason.
could give a little rundown of what they may have missed.
And that's what I was going to say. We were just getting ready to go into a little bit of a rundown. We had a microphone issue, but we're back. We're clear. Jason, run down some of these things in this big, beautiful bill. I want people to hear some of the trash that is now stuck there.
So we are cutting Medicaid about $700 billion over the next 10 years. When the mic wasn't working, we talked about there is a 80-hour per month work requirement for able-bodied adults without children. Which sounds like a great idea, but the problem is a lot of these departments have been gutted. So being able to prove that you're working these hours may become difficult because there may not be anybody to receive those emails or letters. So you may lose your coverage during this time, or you may just lose it completely if no one ever gets back to you. They are cutting SNAP, $267 billion, also over 10 years. Work requirements on that. But this time, though, they're pushing it up to age 64. That's
Okay.
10 years. 10 years. It was 54, up to 54.
Why do they keep going up? Like, I don't. I listen.
Because they
I
let
get
'em, I
it.
guess.
You keep wanting to not pay people. It's like every single year, Jason.
Yes.
Had they ever come to you, ever in your life, at the end of the year, and said, Jason, we just didn't have enough money for this jet. We need you to pay. Can you throw a couple bucks in? Has that ever happened?
That is not.
So
Not that
every
I know
year
of.
at the end of it, no matter how many trillions of dollars are in the deficit, no matter how many times you went to the grocery store and bought eggs, right?
Yeah, they
it was
never-
just make
never
it
came.
simple for you. No matter how much you guys ever do that, everything is always done and paid for at the end of the year. They never come to you and ask you for more money or ask you to do on this, that, and the other. They'll mess with your IRS. They'll mess with all this other stuff and do stupid bills like the big, beautiful bill to screw you out of money.
Yeah.
But evidently, we're paying off everything every year because all those people had jobs and they put money in their bank accounts and then
got
they
it.
lived off of it. So guess what? It must have been there. What is the deal? How do we have to cut things? Why do we have to go up to age 64 from age 54 on this to just make sure more people die and we don't have to pay them because we don't have enough money, but we do at 54?
My guess is you're going to find that applies to the tax cuts that they're making permanent. Got to find a way to fit some of that in. So let's take it from some of these people because, they don't matter.
Yeah.
So it's also obviously going to disproportionately hit lower income households, while the wealthy get, they're the only tax cuts that are permanent right now. Like some of the middle class tax cuts, they're the ones that are trying to make permanent. They were phasing out at the end of this year. But also the work requirement applies to parents with children over the age of 7. So if you have an 8-year-old during the summer, it might be kind of difficult to find babysitting is expensive. And some after-school programs for schools do extend through the summer, but they're not cheap either.
Wharton Academy has the best babysitting program I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, they take them off your hands completely. You never see them until they graduate.
Yeah,
and
they
that's
raise
it.
them up for you.
They raise them up for you. You ain't got to do nothing. That's what I've heard.
But the national debt is the big one for me because earlier we saw our friend Elon Musk and his DOGE days ending. Well, DOGE found about, I think we said $150 billion of
Something
real,
like that.
actual wasteful spending that they found and fixed. This bill will raise the federal deficit with estimates ranging from $2.5 to $4 trillion over 10 years. So let's say it's the highest number. That's 2.5 times what DOGE found in waste that he's going to add boom on the top. That's like spending, $400 to look for $150.
But as I also stated, and I'm not against you on that,
Yeah.
I agree with you. That's ridiculous. We don't need to be adding that type of debt on top of what we already currently have.
Not when lowering the debt
is their idea.
is what you
like
ran
that's
on.
okay. Smaller government, right?
Yeah.
No taxes, things like that. Okay, well, why don't you work on no taxes? Because we can't work on no taxes. You see? What happens if we go with no taxes?
Yeah, no roads.
Well, now we don't have
No
any
fire.
way to put roads
Yeah,
down
no
or
cops,
to
no
keep
military.
all of Washington, D.C. and all these people around Donald Trump employed. Like, that's the problem with no taxes, ladies and gentlemen. Do you see? They want to tell you no taxes, but they're never going to give it to you because they're like, well, that pays us.
Yeah, that can't happen.
Duh.
But,
Does it pay you, though? What about you, Jay? It
I
seems
get it
to
from
not pay
Texas.
us and you.
One funny thing that's in this bill is $46.5 billion for a border wall, which seems crazy because I thought, who was that? What was that country?
They've
already paid for it.
The one we used to go to vacations at
Yeah.
all-inclusive resorts.
They
that one.
paid
that
for
one.
this entire wall. It's already built, right?
What's that? Nicaragua?
No,
El
it begins
Salvador?
with
Is it
the M.
It's El Salvador?
It's an N. No, that's where the
Starts with
prison
an
is.
N. An N or a
Mexico. That's it.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Mexico.
Yeah, if you grab a random
the wall.
MAGA off the street and ask them, they're going to tell you that wall's done and complete.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen,
Why do we need $46.5 billion?
You do not know this, and I know that it might be comic relief for just the moment, but that right there, that black wall right there, that's a piece of the wall.
Yeah.
That's a piece of the
We're
border
doing our
wall
part.
that Donald Trump paid for.
Right there.
And we went and grabbed that
It's nice,
and
huh?
decided to bring it here and put it right on up, and guess what?
Right.
There it is. That's where some of your taxpayer money came.
That's right in the back of a truck.
Piece of the border wall right there. And this is the Occupy Democrats show. If we're going to occupy the border. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Occupy Mars?
Oh.
Occupy some. By the way, you saw the Occupy Mars shirt, right?
He did have one on, yeah. Yeah. He can
Now-
do that, too.
Occupy Wall Street was a long time ago.
That was.
And nobody really talks about that anymore. Now,
2007, 8?
Occupy Democrats has been very constant on social media and the internet for a long time now.
Over 10.
If you're to make an Occupy shirt that says Occupy Mars, the only Occupy you're getting from is from Occupy Democrats. That means you're watching us with our border wall.
You can't have it.
You can't have our border
That's
wall.
ours.
That is
You
ours.
can't have that one.
All right. So I've got a big, beautiful bill.
It's so
Even
beautiful.
Elon doesn't think it's beautiful. We had that on the last show.
No, that's part of that cuts into his DOGE, like.
He didn't think it was good. He thought that the deficit was too much. But at the same point, they said that none of your DOGE cuts were actually fraud or any of the stuff you were trying to cut out. Like there was nothing. You just went through and with a machete took out a bunch of people's jobs.
Some of it was programs that were already over. They're already paid out. Like it's like so maybe he didn't re-up it later, but it was.
That's another thing that I want to talk to you guys about. This happens quite often with this Trump administration.
Yes.
Right? We take a credit for other people's successes. We take credit for when things are going well. We take credit for a lot of things that we don't necessarily do in the Trump administration, don't we?
Yeah.
That seems to be our thing, taking credit for it. Like, let's say you decided to not get rid of the measles vaccine and just started putting it right back where it used to be in Texas. And all of a sudden you started giving it to the kids with measles and all of a sudden it went away.
Hey,
you'd be like, hey,
isn't that crazy?
RFK Jr. is such a genius. He's such a genius.
Did you see he invented the measles vaccine?
He did. He's such
People say.
Listen. He's such a great person, Jason. Okay.
He sounds like it.
That, check this out. I got a video here. Carolyn Levitt
Ooh, I like
is
her.
asked about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and his Make America Healthy Again report. Check this
right.
out. Take a look
gold.
at this.
Jasmine.
Thanks so much, Caroline. A notice investigation found that the Hallmark Maha Commission report that was released last week cites studies that appear to not exist. We know that because, in part, we reached out to some of the listed authors who said that they didn't write the studies cited. So I want to ask, does the White House have confidence that the information coming from HHS can be trusted?
Yes, we have complete confidence in Secretary Kennedy and his team at HHS. I understand there were some formatting issues with the Maha report that are being addressed, and the report will be updated, but it does not negate the substance of the report, which, as you know, is one of the most transformative health reports that has ever been released by the federal government and is backed on good science that has never been recognized by the federal government.
And a quick follow-up, can you talk about what tools or research goes into production of these kinds of reports? For instance, is it AI that's used to put together these reports now?
I can't speak to that. I would defer you to the Department of Health and Human Services. What I know is just what I told you.
You know what? She's right. That's what they did. AI wrote that and used sources that don't exist because AI is not perfect. You know what? That little report, if they would have turned that in to a college professor, they would be kicked out of school.
You know, and this also comes as Kennedy, who's a vaccine skeptic, of
yeah,
course.
right.
Criticized top medical journals as corrupt and proposed government-run alternatives. The findings of this whole situation raised concerns about the scientific credibility of this report, dude. Like, I don't see how you can't just put, like, I'm a drunk. I'm a TV show host. Don't hire me for security stuff. I'm a guy who wrestles bears in parks. I swim in disgusting creeks. Don't hire me for health and human services. Like, I'm just not catching on, Jay.
You know what I've noticed about the Trump people? Their idea of corruption is facts that they don't like. That's corruption. Stuff that's factual that they just don't like that it is. That's corruption.
But it doesn't surprise us when we hear that there's a study that was put out that's using bad information. Information
Made
that is
up
cited
information.
that's made up completely.
That's what I'm saying.
And then when Jasmine Wright asked the question about AI doing this, immediately for everybody who's smart is like, clicks it and goes, oh, I wouldn't even think about AI. What a great question. And she immediately goes, like you just said,
I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, is this a bird? It's just like, everyone's like, what? Everyone's like, what are you talking about? That's your hand.
We get it. We've all seen movies
But
like Over
that's
the
it.
Hedge.
The corruption is things that are true that they don't like. Like the New York Times writes a story that's factually accurate. That's corrupt and bad because it tells stories that I don't like. That's what Trump is. Carolyn Levitt's the best, though. She's starting to wear a cross again. Did you see that?
Remember
She took it
the
off for a
first.
while.
Okay, let's talk about Carolyn Levitt for a second.
She's fantastic.
So far, she has maintained her Fox News mentality and looks.
Oh, blonde hair, boom, done.
Blonde hair, good-looking gal.
I'm
out
surprised.
there, out in front, on purpose. Like that is Donald Trump's. I love it. That's what I want. That's
Like-
what Marla Maples was. That's what Ivanka was.
Right.
That's what this person is. What all of them.
I'm shocked that the podium is not clear, is not glass.
Yeah.
Like the tables.
So that they can show off the
yes,
body. Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
yes. Like in Fox, how the counters and the table,
Were
everything's clear.
so they can
you can see
it.
their legs.
Yeah,
you can see
their
them,
legs. Yeah. No,
Totally
no.
shocked. That's not
Perverts running. Oh, remember they're all against pedophiles.
Yeah.
So are me and Jason, and we'll pretty much beat the living whatever out of a human being on that
Sure.
stuff. Like, no more or less than they will, but they seem to.
But then we're not going to get caught like being weird and filming women and
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
stuff,
And
right?
like all this other stuff that
Right.
happens with the weirdness that goes on within that party. And so it's like everything comes back to the sexualization in some form, right?
Like, it is possible.
Like everything does.
It
for
is
them.
possible to hate pedophiles and not be a racist or a sexist. Or,
Yeah.
you can do
You can
that.
just be a kind human
Yeah,
being
you can just be
and
regular.
still hate pedophiles.
Yeah, like don't like them, but also don't like that. They don't seem to do that very well, though.
Can I ask you a question about a word?
Ooh.
Have you heard of the word remigration?
No.
So remigration is when people are encouraged or forced to return to their home country or region,
Oh, is that what they're-
often to reduce immigration or preserve local culture.
Is this a nicer way of saying self-deportation? Is that what they're
Sort
doing?
of. It's not a second chance like the word re.
Yeah, right.
Would like oh, I was already migrated and I get to re-migrate and okay, this great. No. This is something that has been bantered about slowly behind the scenes a little bit. It is a word that is starting to catch on in those conservative circles. They like this idea of remigration because it's basically just kick anyone who doesn't look like you or your color and creed out of your area.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's a smart move.
It's not even about it's literally not about countries or this group of people or like nope, it's just straight up only these people can stay, everyone out. That's what remigration
Come on,
is.
that's when your country's like middle of the pack for industrialized nations in scores of math and science, that's a smart idea to not let international students in here. Don't let them study here. Keep them out.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
we don't
control
need them.
Don't control your business overseas with
Right?
tariffs and making sure that you keep your allies with all these shipping lanes. Get rid of them because the internet didn't help everybody create more
Yeah,
infrastructure
right?
for their own countries, regardless of the United States. How dumb do you think real smart human beings are that live in America?
So we don't need you. We're 19th in math. Take that.
I'm pissed off about that, Jason.
It's ridiculous.
We should not be 19th in math.
No, we should be.
We should be top 10 at minimum in most everything across the board, because we do have the most amount of money compared to every other country on earth.
Yeah.
We have the most amount of access to everything compared to every other country on earth. We have the largest military to protect us and control us. Control us, Jason.
You know, it's funny you say that, because 75%
But not
of
control
Trump's
us like that. I'm just
75% of Trump's budget goes to military or police.
There it is. It's so important. It's 75% of Donald Trump's budget
Goes to
We were
those
just
two,
talking about his
yeah.
big, beautiful bill and his
Yeah.
budgets and things like that. That all goes to military and police. So
Yeah, whether directly or through programs or other funding. Yeah,
why would you hurt the opportunities?
it's nonsense.
Why
It's-
would you hurt the opportunities? Don't you want to be remembered for doing great things? Because I hear of a lot of people around me are still complaining about prices are pretty high.
Yeah, they're not really going down.
I'm not saying gas doesn't look like it's starting to move down a little bit.
Well, what's weird about that
It
is
was like $3 here. Now it's like $2.85.
Yeah.
So like it moved down a little bit.
but the cost of oil is at historic prices where we should be in the low twos, but we're like 260,
Low twos. You
270.
mean like 210?
something
215?
around there, because I think we're at 40 something a barrel for oil, and
Oh yeah, guys. $40 a barrel for oil in 2001. That's $1.15 gas.
yeah, like it should
Sorry,
be.
no, I'm serious. $40 a barrel for oil in 2001 would equal out to about $1.15 gas. Same oil barrel, same amount of oil in it, same $40 at that time, worth
Now
the
it's
same
something
amount, still worth
Yeah.
the same amount at that time as it is today, right? If I give you two 20s today, it's the same way you look at it
here's
as
a barrel.
when you got two 20s back in 2001. You don't go through conversion rates in your head and all this other. It's two 20s.
I'd have to
It's
look it
$40
up.
bucks.
It must have something to do with refineries or something like that.
Or
because-
lying,
or lying, and corruption.
or gouging people, and finding ways to keep gouging people.
Well, we'll never know, 'cause
with
that
big,
could
beautiful bills
Yeah.
that suck, that even Elon Musk thinks suck, and he's leaving, and he quits, and he don't want to be there anymore.
Well, we won't know. The Consumer Protection Bureau is gone. So
yeah, we don't have any. Of
So
that
if you're being
anymore.
gouged, America, tough shit.
Yeah,
because Trump took that away.
Tough shit for sure. Something I definitely got to play for you before we get out of here, Jay.
Yes.
And I think this is an important clip to play. Iowa Senator Joni Ernst faces a tense crowd during a town hall Thursday night in Parkersburg. Okay. The event turned contentious when constituents grilled Ernst over proposed Medicaid cuts and former President Donald Trump's expanding executive powers, Jason, something we were just talking about, you and me. One Navy veteran and civics teacher accused Ernst of ignoring Trump's overreaching and asked if she was afraid of Trump or just didn't care. Ernst responded by defending her alignment with Trump, noting that he communicated with her unlike President Biden ever did.
Oh,
Tensions rose further during the discussion of the big, beautiful bill, Jason, on the heels of what you were just talking about, which would cut Medicaid benefits. When a woman shouted, "People will die," Ernst replied this. Play this video of Joni Ernst.
People are not, well, we all are going to die. So, for heaven's sakes.
Oh, it's so empathetic. So sweet.
We are all going to die. You
That's
don't need to
true.
wish him well. He's a mean,
Right?
evil guy. He sucks. We're all going. Listen, did you just say somebody's going to die? We're all going to die.
That's
Jason.
similar to All Lives Matter.
We're all
right?
going to die.
Oh, you're going to die. They're going to die.
It's just
Everyone's gonna
deflection.
die.
I don't want to answer the question. and the question is I'm afraid of Trump. I'm afraid of losing my job. The problem Joni Ernst has is she doesn't understand. Now that's a viral clip. It's now played on Occupy Democrats. It'll get played by Rupar or some of these other people. They'll put it up. Don Winslow will put it up. Everybody will put it up. It'll be blown out of the whole country. Everyone will know about Joni Ernst, and people in her constituency and in the area where she is a politician. They're going to know that this moment happened because they were there.
Yep.
And this is just going to turn on her to where she either loses her seat or it's over with. The money goes away anyway. Do you see? You were scared of Trump. You still didn't win, and you still lost all of it.
Right.
The
Now you look
career
like
and
a bad
everything.
person. Everyone hates you now.
And now Donald Trump isn't going to come help you.
No,
Has
you're on
Donald
your
Trump
own.
helped anyone yet, Jason?
No,
He's helped himself.
Yeah, he's helped crypto bros that donated money to his coin.
A stupid dinner coin.
Right?
I gotta have a dinner.
Got a disgusting looking dinner.
$38 million. Remember, we said it was $30 million
Yeah, that
for
was
the
the top
highest
one, yeah.
plate.
Yeah.
$38 million of money.
Yeah.
You and me sit here on $1 million and go, that would be amazing if we had $1
Right?
million.
Wouldn't that be great?
38 just for a plate of food, and you saw that plate of food.
That plate of food was gross.
Disgusting, horrible.
It did not look like food.
That did not look like food. That was not food.
It wasn't very well prepared food.
All of them. But Joni Ernst is an example, Jason. She's an example of what is going to happen to all of them. As you guys keep playing to Donald Trump, as you keep just suckling at his teat, House members, it's not the senators. Notice the senators. The senators are kind of lock, stock, and two smoking barrels and like where they sit. And even the like staunch ones are like, I'm not a fan of this bill. Like, they sit where they sit, kind of, right? It's the House members who only got like 2 years or 4 years, like, you know what I'm saying? Like every 2 years they have to like re-up
It
for
barely
these
passed
things.
them. So
like
I don't know.
those individuals seem to like be the ones that flip-flop the most, that run around and jump the most. Like, it doesn't seem like people that got long-term options. Like,
I'm sure she'll vote for it.
because senators are a 6-year term.
Yeah.
And so for 6 years, if I'm in year 1 or 2, I'm not going to mess around with anything. I'm going to stay real quiet because I got 4 more years to go.
Yeah, and minus a few Republicans, the senators are usually a little more responsible, a little more serious, I don't know.
Now, Jason,
I would say necessarily educated more, but
where's the big, beautiful bill stand currently?
that's into the Senate. They'll go through that and cut it up a little bit, send it back to the House, and well, I'm not sure when they're going to even do that. As far as I know, I don't even know if they've looked
So
at
what
it.
we hope for, ladies and gentlemen, is that what I just said holds true, that those senators do hold to their more moderate stylings as opposed to their Trump MAGA stylings on something of this nature. See that the pork fat, they like to call it pork fat, right? Like the pork belly, the pork fat, you get the pork out of the bill. That's right. Hopefully they'll see that there's a lot of pork in that bill that needs to get sliced out.
Strip some of that nonsense
And not just the DOGE stuff. We're talking about like real pork fat in that bill.
Yeah.
Things that don't need to be there. Guys, they're reshaping. And by the way, this big, beautiful bill, this is not Donald Trump's big, amazing presidential coup de grace of his second term. Remember, he did the reform bill in the first term of his presidency, the tax reform bill then,
and Jobs Act.
And Jobs Act, if you remember. And that took about 7 years to roll out until the inflation hammered us.
Yep.
But that's about the time his tax cuts were going to run out. So if we start now with a big, beautiful bill, I guess we're looking at about 2033. 2034?
That'll start
so
rolling
2032, your inflation starts to drop. So think about this. You've never seen prices go backwards. So where they sit today is kind of where they're going to be lowest of your life moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay. So 7 years from now, you're going to have inflation again. You just got done bitching about how bad these prices are right now. And that's why Trump had to be hired, and you had to get rid of Biden and the high inflation, and you still haven't gotten the inflation down. The prices are still high, and this is right now, today. And so now, 7 years from now, these prices will be the lowest you have ever seen, but they won't be the prices 7 years from now. Those prices will be higher than today. So you need to be extra 7 years angrier than you are today, Jason. So if you're 51 today,
so angry,
you've got to be 51 times 7 angry when you're 58. Angry. Do you see what I'm saying?
Angry.
Like, you have to be extra angry because you're angry now. So be more angry then.
They will.
And then you got to be more angry then. And then eventually you die. And then, oh, wow, look at that. All of this bitching and complaining and crying, all of this cheating on your wives and pretending that you had to go see Yahweh on Sundays, all of this didn't matter then.
We know what you did.
Because we all know what you did. By the way, some of you recorded it. Some of you guys put it on your cell phones.
That's right, you did.
Some of you guys put it into signal chats. Tell the whole world.
Hey, guys, check this out.
Check this crap out.
Isn't bombing cool?
Yeah, man, we're losing. Remember when it was winning because Charlie Sheen said it and it was supposed to be cool and kind of winning,
right?
Oh, winning,
From like
right?
a twitchy,
but then
shaky guy.
Trump couldn't stop. Like, he's like, winning, I'm winning. It's hashtag winning and winning. It's like, dude, you don't win.
Right? He's like that little kid that gets in on the joke, and next thing you know, he's telling it to everyone at the party, everyone at at the reception.
Yeah, he just never wins, though. That's what I'm saying. He just doesn't win.
Oh, you know what I need to do before we get out of here? I got to give my shout out to some new friends I met on Saturday that we're going to meet in a couple of weeks.
Do you want to do that before I do my thing, or do you want to do it after I do?
We'll ride that out at the end.
You want to ride that out?
It's not really
end?
a news piece.
All right. So, a new relationship trend. Are you ready?
Yes.
Try injecting some fun into your relationship by celebrating, you ready? An arbitrary anniversary, Jay. An arbitrary anniversary. This is a new trend.
That's like national
starting
whatever
to become
day
a
again.
thing. People, once again, we're
Yeah.
doing the national.
We're
Like
making
now
up
it's
stuff.
celebrating an arbitrary anniversary. Things like the first time you cooked together, or I don't know,
remember
maybe
that.
when you left the door open and she peed the first time or something like that. Like, things like that. Could be any of those types of things. We don't know.
You imagine your kids and you come up with some random day. They're like, what are you guys celebrating? Oh, it's the first day that your mom ever told me that she pooped.
Could you just imagine what it would be like to be like a significant other with someone like a Nancy Mace? The first time a moment like that
can only
happens, like the
imagine.
screeching of a witch down the
Right.
hallway,
Right.
just attacking
Wakes you up at 4 a.m.
Just-
Are you
yeah.
sleeping? It's the first time we ever held hands. You're like, oh God, help me! I'm gonna be murdered in my
Just
bed.
like hovering like the
Right?
nun at the end of the bed
I
over
love
your
you
like,
so much.
body.
Don't ever leave me. Do you know if I leave me, I'll cut my hair off.
Now, Jason,
Yes.
recently you found yourself.
I did on the way out of town, of all things.
Okay, Jason, we'll talk about this off
Yes.
the air.
Yes.
You weren't going out of town, Jay. You weren't. Let's just say we weren't going out of town.
No, I 100% was going out of town.
You were going out of town. You were literally driving out of town.
Going to Illinois.
You were
Down
going to-
I had to go down Mid Rivers because I had to stop at this
All right.
country Walmart.
Okay. All right. So,
Out Mid Rivers, 270 to go to Illinois.
all right. Here's the deal. You jumped out and talked to a few people.
Well, let's say I saw them before I was heading out of town and decided to stop there on the way out of town. I didn't just jump out of the car like a lunatic.
That makes a lot more
Yes.
sense, ladies and
Yes,
gentlemen.
we knew they
You
were
see?
there, but we were getting ready to
I see.
leave
I see.
anyway.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, I don't
All
just
right.
jump out of my car at random groups of people.
We thought that you were randomly attacking people on behalf
But
of
I did
Occupy
do this.
Democrats, and we needed to like reprimand you. Like,
I did.
Jason, you can't just attack
I
our
did,
people.
I did do this on the way out of town, though.
All right, fair enough. So
Yes.
you were going on your way out of town.
Yes.
You saw a movement going on, or a protest
yes.
on the
They
side
are
of the road.
hands-off movement.
The hands-off movement.
Well, they call them the hands-off. I don't know if movement is in their title.
Your
or not.
hands were off, right?
Yeah, I didn't touch them.
You weren't touching anyone. Fair enough. All right. Well, let's see what you got here.
Yeah, fire that up. These are good people.
All right, Jason Cole here with Occupy Democrat Show, and I'm at the hands-off protest. Is that where we're at today? Yes, at 50501. Let's just look at the blatant drifting that our president is doing. You know, this meme coin thing that he started. I mean, it's just a big bribe. You have people who could not come in the United States who have had charges dropped against them because they gave money to Trump. I mean, it's as corrupt as it gets. I know I could probably go on forever. We could. Yeah, we could, couldn't we? You know?
I'm out here today because I think our democracy is at stake and that I think everybody needs to speak up. Don't be afraid. All of our voices are needed to make this person get out of our lives.
Tariffs are not going to make our economy any better. It's going to make it worse.
The government is doing a lot of very wrong things right now, and I care about preserving democracy in the world.
What, if I can ask, how old are you?
13.
And every day we're bombarded with more and more.
Well, there we go.
All right, Jason Cole here.
There they are. Good people. All of them. It was 2 blocks worth there on Mid Rivers Mall.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So now, while you were out there, you heard a lot of people state various things like we've stated on the show, obviously. Impeach
Yes.
Trump, these things need to happen. But what I want people to take from that video more than anything else is the fact that those are all voters. Those are all people that got up on November 5th. They walked to the polls or drove to the polls or however they got there. They check-marked a box that said that they wanted this, that, or the other. In the state of Missouri, they wanted Amendment 3. They checked the boxes. That's what they were looking for in America. You didn't see this going on with Joe Biden. And I get it, but you did. You guys just got into your little NASCAR venues and kept screaming, "Let's go Brandon," over and over. Like that was your way of protesting. Yours was shooting up Bud Light cans and crazy stuff like that. That was your way of protesting. We're internet people, tech bros. We do this online. So we're Rogan and we're this and blah, 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 blah. We don't care. Those are real people that are putting their time and effort out there to prove to the whole world why that is the wrong message right now in the White House. It's just the wrong message now, Jay, for America. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Jason, you got anything else?
No.
And you said there's another one of those going on?
Yes, June 14th. It's a different group. This one is called No Kings, but they are affiliated with Hands Off.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Fair
June
enough.
14th on Mid-Rivers Mall.
Maybe me and you should.
Totally should.
Maybe you think so?
I think so.
I think we should maybe use a better microphone.
Those were my children's
Well,
microphones.
nope, I'm getting better. Metro, get your stuff. Get your stuff prepared. We got to do things, and you're going to have to come with us.
Yes, those were what was handy.
That's fair. Fair enough. Well, thank you very much, Jason Call, for getting out there and doing that for us. And also, thank you to the wonderful individual who edited that and put that all together.
That's
they did
right.
an amazing job.
My daughter.
And that's going to do it for us on this episode of the Occupy Democrats show. You guys can follow me at Mark Bland on Twitter, and then my name, and
he's right there.
Jason.
It's right underneath.
He's right there, too.
That's right. You can find me on my name or Featherbangs on Twitter.
Or Featherbangs.
Twitter is always going to be. Twitter's like the Sears Tower, right?
Is it?
It's always going to be Twitter.
Is it always going to be the place we go to for us? Like, do you think that this is where you and me, like, rest our hat forever is on Twitter? Because I feel like there's other places that I do talk sometimes.
Yeah, well.
It's not a lot, but I'm just saying I do get into other social media platforms. Just not a ton. Like, Instagram never captivated me at all.
I mean, Twitter's a cesspool now. I just mean by naming. How everyone, it's the Willis Tower, but everyone says Sears Tower.
That's true.
It's X. I'm not saying X. That's so stupid.
Why would you? No one needs to say that.
Like, it's dumb.
It does sound
It's
dumb.
dumb. It's like, I'm getting on X.
I feel like if you named your stuff X,
right,
it would almost tank your company to the point where you'd live
you would
billions.
think, right?
You'd
Almost
lose
like,
billions almost.
Almost like you have rockets that explode all the time.
Almost. Hey, listen, I'm going to say this to be fair to Elon Musk. Never had an issue with the dude attempting to do scientific stuff and go after like Mars and stuff like that. Go for it.
Do it.
Everybody's cool with that. Just play in your own playground over there and just do that and stay out of everybody else's business and the government. That has nothing to do with you. Listen, me and Jason talk politics all the time. You don't see us trying to be politicians. We're not out there trying to be president of the United States. It's not happening. Jon Stewart does it all the time too. We said he would make a good one. He's not trying to. That's what we're trying to say. Like, everybody's kind of got their lane. And Trump, you just walk over everybody's stuff. And Elon does the same thing. And it's just weird. And you guys could just do your own things and stay where you're at. Like, weren't you already happy, Trump, like, being at Mar-a-Lago anyway and then yelling at some construction worker because he was Italian and you hated him for it? And he was up in New York and he couldn't get to you so you could, like, say things like your dad used to say?
Maybe that's why he's so angry at me. Maybe he's upset that he doesn't get to hang out and play golf anymore.
I just don't
Now
understand.
people listen to him, and he's like, man, people listen to things I say, and they write it down. And I record it. I'm so mad.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for us on the show. Make sure you tune in. Check us out at all places for Occupy Democrats, at Occupy Democrats. That's the name we go by. You should be able to find us anywhere. Usually we have the little verified marks and all the good stuff, so you can't miss who we are. That's going to do it for us. We'll see you guys next time on the show.